Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to the 8th episode of this Starcraft 2 Newbie Guide. In the previous episode, we played some more versus AI, and we got a little bit further along in this bar, and in this episode we will be continuing that endeavor, so let's just go ahead and hit the play button and try and fill up this bar all the way through to the right side. Again, that's not going to happen in this video, because it's going to take several games to do that, but I would like to just continue this endeavor either way. So it looks like we're up against a Zerg opponent on a 4-player map, so scouting across map or directly above or below wherever we are right here is going to be ideal, or obviously is what we're going to be doing. Train up a drone. I'm going to send my overlord to their potential spawn point, which is right here, and there are also two others over here, but this is the shorter one, so, or the shorter distance, so we're going to try that. Get some more drones building. Now we are playing up against a harder AI, and this is actually not a pushover, so let's try and get things off to a good start.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
I love this Starcraft/Starcraft Brood War Zerg music. It's good stuff, man. So we got another overlord spawning. He's going to be scouting out in that direction. Waiting for our spawning pool to finish. We've got an extractor currently building. In the meantime, we're just building up drones. Once this finishes, we're going to pick up a queen here. And once that finishes, we're going to get 3 on gas. Doesn't look like our opponent is right here, so they're somewhere across map, which means we're going to need some other form of scouting. So I'm going to grab a drone. I'm going to send the drone off into this other direction, and then I'm going to shift-click off in this direction, and then I'm going to shift-click back to base, so that the drone follows waypoints. And because we don't know where our opponent is, but this is a fairly large map, I'm going to take this opportunity to expand. We don't know what kind of build we should be preparing for, so we're just going to build up economy. Not always the safest bet, by the way, to do that, but that's what we're going to be doing this time. Build another overlord, build another couple of drones. Alright, so we've got our queen, going to set her on control group 6 and have her spawn some larva on this hatchery. Going to keep building up drones. We want to make sure we get a nice saturation at this base, and because we're building an expansion here, we want to make sure we have enough drones to add to this expansion too. So, got an economy-based game going on here. We're going to set this drone as group 1 so that we can easily manage that drone when we need to. Going to keep building up some more drones here. We've got enough for metabolic boost, enough resources for metabolic boost, so we're going to pick that up for our zerglings when we get them. Alright, so the opponent is not here. That means they must be in this location. And our overlord is still very slowly making his way over there. Alright then. So, more drones. More and more drones. Going for that econ-based game. I want to see what the opponent is building before I decide to make any decisions about what sort of tech path we should be going for. And I should probably train up a queen here. Get her birthing early, so that this hatchery will have a queen ready when it comes up. In fact, I'm going to move the one we have already up over here. And then the one that births here, we'll be able to just take over spawn larva duty on that hatchery. Alright.
Our drones are under attack.
Alright, looks like we found the Zerg player. Got some Zerglings up already without metabolic boosts. There's a scout Zergling right there coming in. Alright, so there are some Zerglings for the opponent. Let's go ahead and get some Zerglings of our own. Gonna build up a fairly large force of them, and I'm gonna rush them over here as soon as they spawn. Alright, so we've got another queen here. And we want to make more drones, get them moving out in that direction. Again, we don't know what the opponent is actually building, so I'm just going to go ahead and build up a roach warren. It's a nice, safe bet to continue our tech path. Zergling metabolic boost just finished.
Not enough energy.
Okay, we're going to build up a lair here. Just going to keep progressing our tech safely. Not going for anything in particular. Alright, so this is their expansion. Looks like they expanded here. Oh, they got banelings, zerglings, and roaches. They've actually got a significant size force here. I'm going to move throughout their base, and maybe we can pick off one of their queens. They don't have a queen here, actually. Alright, we're going to try and hit their drones. I'm going to pull back and just keep them busy. I'm going to move them out in this direction now. So, we need to keep them busy for a little while we build up some defenses.
Our forces are under attack.
So that's what we're doing. We're going to keep moving these zerglings back and forth. Force them to defend. I'm going to get over here again and do this. The fact that they skipped a queen tells me that they really want to go for a very aggressive play.
More
They're building a Hydralisk den now. Alright, so they're going for Hydras. There's a queen. Gonna build up some overlords for the forces here. Alright, so we're able to hold them back while these spine crawlers finish, but we do need some more military units on the map at this point. I'm actually gonna pull some of these units off, some of these drones off of gas. Alright, so we got some roaches of our own, roaches and zerglings of our own, as well as these spine crawlers set up during all of that chaos. We really need the minerals coming in, so I'm not going to put anything on gas over here just yet. We do have some minerals waiting for us, and we need more larvae, really, is what we need. Gonna get some roaches out. They don't have Hydralisks yet, but they're getting Hydras. I'm gonna get up a bunch of roaches and get their glial reconstitution going so that I can move them faster off creep. I have a feeling I need a macro hatchery, but I'm not going to go for that right now. Since we have some military units already in training, I'm going to build up some more drones. Got to keep that economy building while you've got your other upgrades going. Alright, so we were able to get some spawn larvae off on these hatcheries. I don't think that they're going to be able to be as aggressive as they wanted to be because of that early pressure we put on them. So since we bought us some time, let's go ahead and get our own Hydralisk den down here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to build a baneling nest instead. I think banelings will do better against Hydras than other Hydras will. I don't want to go for a mirror match against what they're going. I want to go for what counters what they have, not for exactly what they have. Alright, so we need to get some more drones building here. Need some more overlords too. It's really important that I keep up with these spawn larvae. We know our opponent has a fairly sizable force. Let's go ahead and move our roaches and zerglings out just a little bit. I want to get a view of what's going on. So I'm going to get an overseer out so I can scout a little bit. They're undoubtedly still building up their forces. Get some more zerglings. Got a queen here that we can probably hit. Not sure where their army is. They brought their drones out to come and defend. We're able to take out a few of these drones. That's good. So there's some of their forces. Let's get this zergling out if we can. Move them over to the roaches. So we got some more zerglings that just hatched. We can bring them over. Alright, so let's get some even more zerglings. Need lots of overlords here. I'm just setting them out to random locations on the map. So we've got this overseer. Let's get our overseer in position. We're going to turn these zerglings into banelings because they can shred zerglings and hydralisks. Get them some movement speed upgrades with these what is it, centrifugal hooks? Yeah, get them some centrifugal hook upgrades. And I'm going to start building a spire as well. Wow, we need more Vespine gas for that. Alright, looks like we're running into some economic problems, so let's get some drones training. And let's let them harvest some of these minerals here. No, let's let 3 of them get that gas. 1, 2, 3. And the rest of them move over here. Pick up some of this. Now I want to apply a little bit more pressure before I do anything else. So let's get some more zerglings, get them moving out here. And I want to take a look at what the enemy is doing. Just keep an eye on what's going on with their efforts here. It's a very slow-moving overseer. I got to pick up that pneumatized carapace upgrade. So we're going to drop the changeling here and get the changeling moving over this way.
Our forces are under attack.
Okay. Where's their army? Oh, they got a big army back here who has this overlord in mind. They've spotted this overlord, so they're kind of got some spore crawlers back there too. Alright, that's actually not as huge an army as I thought it would be. So let's get some more zerglings, move them over here, and keep up with this spawn larva bit that I was talking about. It's probably time for us to expand here, so let's get an expansion going. It's not that safe to do it right now, but we're going to do it anyway. So we've got 4 geysers up, but only 2 functional, so let's make sure all 4 are functional. Because again, I'm planning on moving over to spire units, which are mutalisks and other flyers, after I put some pressure on their expansion here. So once these zerglings get here, we're going to go put some pressure on that expansion. They got their own overseer moving out. So they've spotted me, so no doubt they're going to move their units out in this direction at some point. Alright, so I want these banelings to be group 3. Kind of set them over here. Let's pull our units back. Let's hit this expansion. Maybe we can do some real damage to the expansion. Pull the roaches away here. Send the roaches in, send the zerglings in, and let's get these banelings in the back line against these hydras here. There we go. Able to do a lot of damage, but they are going to hold us off. Alright, that's fine. There's no need to lose all of our roaches. Well, we might as well have them pulled back. So, did we do much? We didn't do much economic damage. We did hit their army pretty hard. They may not be able to make a move off of that, so we'll see what happens in that regard. Gonna spread some creep now. Gonna get another queen training for this hatchery. Might as well get 4 queens going, right? Alright, looks like they're moving out. Looks like they're moving out. That's kind of dangerous, actually. So, we got a ton of minerals. Let's get a bunch of roaches up and some zerglings and get them rallied right here. These guys will be... That's a changeling. These guys will be ready when the opponent makes their move here. Our Spire did just finish. We're going to get Flyer attacks level 1. And we've got another expansion here, but it's very vulnerable. We may not be able to defend this. There we go. We've got our roaches up. And our zerglings up. We're gonna get some more roaches. We're gonna move our units out there here. And we're gonna uproot these spine crawlers and move them in this direction so that hopefully we can fight in this choke point area right here. Get another queen going. So we have another queen that just hatched. I'm going to add her to this group. We're going to spawn a 4th queen right there. And move her out in... Can I select her? Oh, I have her selected. Move her out in this direction. Get some more overlords, because we just want to keep up with that. And spawn a ton of drones. We can't spawn a ton of drones because we're low on minerals. Okay. So we obviously need to saturate our bases a little bit better. Alright, so they moved out, but they didn't actually move out toward us. Looks like they may have been planning an expansion. Let's get moving in that direction. And let's keep up with the spawn larva. Before we start producing a ton of mutalisks, let's saturate all these bases. Let's get these bases up and running. Again, we're sending out this attack so that we can apply pressure to the enemy. Apply pressure to our opponent here. They got Ravagers. Ravagers are good against armored units. They're a new Legacy of the Void unit, actually. Yeah, they're trying to protect their drones here. They seem to be out of military. So we can actually hit this expansion really hard. We're going to let our roaches do their thing there. That lets me feel like I'm in a pretty safe position at this point. So I'm going to make a ton of drones here. Spend all of my minerals on drones, and we're going to split them up between these 2 bases here. Actually, we don't need very many over here. And we're going to move some of these units out in this direction. In fact, we've got so many drones going there that I may as well just expand again. So we're going to expand another time here. Let's go check in on our roaches. Roaches are still doing great. They're just going to be cleaned up right now, but we were able to do a lot of economic damage to the opponent, which is exactly what we were going for. So we got a ton of drones here. We need to set some of these on gas. Set some of these on gas. There we go. We're doing fairly well as far as that's concerned now. So now we've got this set up. This next expansion set up, almost ready to go. Now notice the decision making I'm going for as far as it comes when to expand. I have an opening to expand because we applied so much pressure, so I expanded. You need to make sure you have a steady supply of resources coming in, so that's what we're doing. Also, I've got a lot of minerals and gas built up at this point, so we're going to take advantage of that and train those mutalisks we've been talking about. So we're going to have a lot of mutalisks coming up pretty soon. These are going to be a really useful force for us. They're going to let us apply even more pressure. So we've got a ton of queens. Oh no, I didn't mean to right-click there. Let's get all of our queens back where they should be. There we go. I just want one of you queens to move out this way. Spread some more creep off in this direction because we need to connect these bases. And get even more mutalisks coming out. We've got all these already, and I think we can probably take the game with this, but I'm not 100% certain. And this isn't really a ton of mutas. This is a good amount, but it's not a ton. They're still fairly vulnerable. A group of mutalisks gets very strong when they reach a sort of critical mass of a large number of them. Alright, so we're going to keep spawning larvae here. Mineral field depleted. We have 3 idle workers. We're going to select them and get them working over here. Now we've got 3 drones that we don't need mining here because we're at 19 of 16, so we're going to send them off in this direction and get this expansion going. And in the meantime, we're going to uproot one of these spine crawlers and move it off over here. And continue training Mutalisks.
Spawn more overlords.
Okay, we need some overlords. I'm going to have one larva turn into an overlord.
Depleted.
So once this next batch of Mutalisk hatches, we're going to move over to the enemy base, try to do some more economic damage. We may actually be able to close the game out here. So let's get a lot of overlords ready. Because I also want to supplement this attack with zerglings if I need to. Or I just want to supplement this attack with zerglings, really. Okay, building up more and more Vespene gas. I feel like maybe we've got enough at this point, but we're okay. Alright, so we've got this batch of mutants. Now we have a decent amount of them, so we're going to fly them right into the back of the enemy base. They've got a spore crawler here. Our opponent does. So we got to be careful because they've got some air defenses. But we've done a good job in the early game of continually applying pressure to the other base. Okay, so there goes all of their air defenses for this. Oh, not all of them. Let's take this spore crawler out. Spore crawlers can like 3 to 5 shot, I think. Oh, we've got to be careful of Ravagers. Ow! Ravagers. Ravagers have that aerial attack where they launch that burst up into the air, so they're actually kind of good against mutas. Fortunately, mutas heal very quickly. That's one of their strengths. They regenerate quickly. But wow, we are taking a lot of damage from Hydras, Corruptors, Ravagers. They actually did a pretty good job with what they had of defending themselves. But we're here to deal economic damage, so let's deal economic damage. Alright, so while we're doing this, we've got mineral field depleted going on. Mutalisks aren't something you want to leave behind and just let them do their own thing, because they're still vulnerable, so we're going to pull them back a little bit. And we've got mineral field depleted over here, so we're going to move some units off to this expansion. And that covers our idle worker count. We're going to put 2 of them on this gas right there. Get the rest of them doing their thing. And then meanwhile, continue to spread larvae. We've got more Mutalisks just spawning, and they're on the way to the group that we just set up there. I'm going to spread creep out in that direction. Let's go ahead and get Queen adding even more of them there. So the more creep tumors you have in one location, the faster creep will spread. So these little creep spreading units for us here, they spread creep very quickly when they're in groups. Or, of course, you can spread them out to spread creep in a wider area if you wanted to do that. So yeah, Queen spawn those creep spreading units that you need to make your base even larger. Alright, so we got these units back up. Let's go ahead and spawn even more of them. Oh, they got an infestor out here. Infestors are great against Mutalisks too, because they have that fungal growth spell, which holds groups of units down and deals damage to them at the same time. And Mutalisks aren't that durable, so it's actually a great spell to use against Mutalisks if you can get it. But we were able to take out that unit, so it wasn't too big of an issue. Alright, so we're gonna rally some zerglings off in this location over here. And while that is, oh, there's another infestor. Let's go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and hit it. There we go. Okay, they're actually still doing a fair job of hitting us with other units. So we were able to take out their first expansion. That was a swarm host, and it just burrowed and went invisible. I didn't think that they went invisible when they burrowed. I thought they were still visible. Maybe that's just in the Heart of the Swarm campaign. I don't know, man. I do know that we're going to close out this game here, though. So there's that. So here are these zerglings. Let's get them moving in that direction. I have a feeling the AI is going to be GGing any second now. We do have some zerglings moving around, stopping their reinforcements. This is it. We're done. This is the game, man. I'm really surprised they have not... Well, not surprised per se, but it's, you know... It feels like they should have GG'd by this point. They've got another base out here, so let's go ahead and take this one down. It's one thing I love about Mutalisks is their ability to get around the map. And I keep producing more. There's the GG. Alright, so GG, harder AI. I will say yes to the surrender. Alright, so there it is. That we have this game. We took this one down. It's a fairly decently lengthed game, I think. It feels appropriate for a single video's length. Level 31 Zerg. Fun stuff. Got some decals here. I thought I saw these before. So I'm not sure if I just earned these, or if these are coming up, or what. This one's coming up. It's level 32. So I guess that means I got these at this point? I don't know. I don't know what that necessarily means. Anyway, you can use those decals on your base. I really don't know how those work. I haven't paid too much attention to the cosmetic portions of this game. Alright, so here we are on the far end of the harder section, so whenever we continue with this, hopefully we'll be able to break through this line right here, this little barrier, and start playing against the very hard AI, which could be pretty fun. I think my skill level is probably somewhere in the middle of this. I thought it was kind of around here, but I think it's somewhere like in the middle of this section, maybe a little bit to the left, something like that. I feel like that's where my skill level actually is in StarCraft 2. Don't think that I am some sort of like Masters level player or Grandmaster level player or something like that. No, I'm actually I'm somewhere along this bar, I think, as far as my skill level is concerned. We'll find out what it's all about whenever we finally continue to progress through here. So I actually did a little bit of a... Well, I actually did play last night and tried to record some last night. I lost one last night, and I won one last night, but everything felt kind of disorganized, which is why I'm not including those two games in this guide. I just wanted to make sure and put that out there. The loss in particular I wanted to put up because I wanted to display some things about losing in StarCraft, because that's... You're going to win, you're going to lose, and covering loss in this game, covering losing these games, which is going to happen, especially on the ladder, is something that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know. Last night's recordings were kind of a little bit disorganized, so I decided to just take the night and then come back and try and re-record today, which is exactly what I've done here. So we're going to have to cover the loss stuff, or you know, how to deal with or handle or how to progress through losses, or how to work with losses, actually, in StarCraft 2. At a later point. In any case, this one turned out to be a win, so there is that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.